Hey, this is Chris Rissi, and welcome to another Thursday Stop. Okay, so on the Thursday Stop today, we're talking websites, small business websites, and I talk about small business websites all the time, and I talk about them in a lot of different ways and a lot of different capacities. But when it comes down to it, a small business website does two things. That's really all it does. Two major functions of small business website. And here they are. Are you ready? You ready for them? Okay. Number one is to get new business. Duh. Plain and simple, right? And what's the other thing? Two, keep existing business. You can think of it as 50-50 if you want to. That's what a small business website does. It gets new business and it keeps existing business. Okay, so let's elaborate a little bit more. Okay, so if we're looking at just getting new business, you need to have your website set up to do a couple things. Well, you don't want to have too much information. Yeah, because if you have too much information, the potential business that you would get from that website, think of it this way. If you have all the information you need from a business, you really have no desire to contact that business now because you have all your questions answered. And that's where a lot of small businesses go wrong. They try to have giant websites with all the information possible because they're trying to satisfy the needs of everybody that could possibly come to their website, even new business and existing business. And that's the major issue there. If you give away too much information, you give nobody a reason to contact you. So when it comes to generating leads, because that's what most small businesses do, or small business websites need to do, is generate that lead. Or even if they have something to sell on that website, if you give away all of the information possible, there's no reason for anybody, a potential customer, to ever go further. Okay? Now, on the other hand, the opposite side of that is not having enough information. And that's just as bad. Even for new business or existing business, if there's not enough information on that website, you're really giving no need to ever go to that website or even check it out or ever take a further step with doing business with your business. And it really defeats the purpose of having a website at all if there's a complete lack of information there. So there's really a fine line when it comes to a small business website. You have to have just enough information. It's kind of like the Goldilocks zone or the Goldilocks story. It's got to be just right. And a lot of times, it comes down to most businesses. They want to do three things with their marketing. They want to talk about how they do something, or first of all, they want to talk about what it is, but then how they do it, and then why they do it. And honestly, if you try to satisfy all of that with your small business website, you've done too much. That's too much information. So what I like to suggest is completely forget about the how. Completely forget about the how. The how can be used in other marketing. But you do want to have the what you do. That needs to be obvious. The things that your business does that needs to be obvious on your website. Now, the why, though, the why is the most important thing. And it's not necessarily why you do it or why your business does it, but it needs to be about why your potential customers need it or want it, or want to make it part of their story. That's what is missing from most small business websites, and why most small business websites convert poorly, why they just don't get contacts, why they don't get business. Another problem is that they don't get traffic. But yeah. So yeah, forget the how, talk about the what only briefly, but then focus majorly on why people want or need it. Okay. All right. So, but yeah, that sounds great for new business. What about existing business? Well, here's the thing. The visible parts, the forward-facing parts of your small business website should be about gaining new business. That's what it should be all about. Your existing customers, that needs to be put someplace else. That information can be even on a separate website or a different section of your website that's not so publicly visible. And that's where you need to direct your existing customers when through other means, through other marketing channels, through other communication channels. And that, I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms that we're not going to get into. So anyways, to sum this all up, your small business website really needs to be all about getting new business. And what's on there, forget about the how. Again, that can be used in other marketing channels. And really focus on why people want it. You can talk about what it is, but then why your potential customers want it. And to go further into that, you need to display the authority that you have in your business and why that matters to people. You need to create influence with what's there, with that content, with the imagery, with your brand. And then of course you need to give value. You do educate a little bit, but you don't give away the farm. Okay. When you create a nice Goldilocks scenario, then you're going to get communication. You're going to get conversion from your website. And again, it's a fine line. It's a dance you have to do and tweak continuously to make it just right. And then the last thing that I'll add to that is definitely having the low barrier for communication. Communication should be very obvious, or conversion should be very obvious. If you need people to contact you, the phone number needs to be very obvious, or the web form they need to fill out needs to be very simple and very forward-facing. It needs to be right there for them. If there's going to be a sale, that buy button needs to be great big. It needs to be big. You don't have to have arrows pointing at it or anything, but if you do, they need to be pointing right at it. You need to have a nice flow through the page, through the website that leads to that conversion happening. So that's all I have to say right now about small business websites and what they really need to do well. Okay, well, and they also, none of that works unless you're throwing traffic at it. And that's a whole nother story. Okay, well, that's the end of the Thursday stop, and we went over, did a synopsis of what your small business website needs to do for your business. All right, well, I'm Chris Rissy. Thanks for watching, and remember, be the experience, master your business, and I'll talk to you next time.